You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming, and 70 Mountain Toward the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of Solstice Eve. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. Well, I'd have to see it for myself to judge. You could if you wanted to, you know. I could? Yeah, sure, it'll be fun. I'm visiting the guild for my weekly transformation this weekend. I usually have people accompany me to converse with me and whatnot, but none of my other friends are usually available at the time, so I'd be glad to have company. Casually conversing with Darwin while he's transformed into a monstrous werebear and is locked up in a cage sounds somewhat awkward, but I must admit that I'm curious about seeing a Therianthrope in person, and I do enjoy spending time with Darwin. Well, that sounds like a plan then. Nice. I suppose we can discuss the plan in more detail next time we meet to catch up on our latest findings on the shell situation. In 2 days at the Clean Camber, yeah? Yep. By this point, we've both finished our meals, and the night seems to be winding down. My mind flashes back to my original plans for the night. I've already slept with Darwin in the past. I wonder if, by pushing just a bit more, I could reignite that aspect of our relationship. Bang! It's gonna be not safe for work, so I am going to NSFW. There we go. Alright. No need to risk it. Well, I worry it might be too much. I wouldn't want to make Darwin feel uncomfortable. Instead, we exchange a few closing pleasantries with nothing more to do. We bid each other goodbye. The cold air washes over me as I leave Darwin's home, sending shivers up my spine. Suddenly, I'm alone again. I know the bathhouses of the Silt District should have the answer to that, but even then... yeah, so y'all in the comments, let me know if it's a not safe for work scene or not, and I'll go back and do it if it isn't. I'm just a little, curious. I'm quite curious, but yeah, anyway. I'm already looking forward to the next time I'll get to see Darwin. Day 4. 49 days until the Solstice Festival. Must be a fucked up festival, from what I've seen. Hatred. Hatred emanates from every pore of the person in front of me. Vera Ebresk. How the hell am I supposed to approach someone like that? I take a step forward, then another. Each step is met with more resistance. The air around me practically warping as I'm pushed back by the enormity of the task in front of me. My muscles ache. My head hurts. My body gives. I fall over, the ground of the ballroom melting away as I sink. I drown in a roiling ocean of molten stone. I flail to escape, but find myself sinking deeper. I cry for help, but my lungs just fill with more and more of the thick liquid. Vera simply watches, her eyes cold. The garden is pleasant. Thanks to the assistance of magic that is usually reserved for more useful crops, an oak tree from down south is being grown and maintained in spite of the frigid climate. It's also one of the only places here where I don't have to crank up the heat on my robe. Vera is currently sitting within the shade of the tree, resting peacefully. I'm gonna have to disturb it. Wonder what the least irritating way of doing so is. As I'm thinking, she turns to look right at me. Well, waiting any longer is just gonna make things worse. Hello, Vera. Second now, coffee time. Oh. She makes no effort of hiding the grimace on her face before she responds. Hello. Look, Laurent told me you had something important to say. I'm only humoring you because I trust him. Ah, yeah, did he mention the gist of it to you? Yes. Also, sit down. What, are you worried the grass is going to dirty your robe? I do as she says. So, I started looking into Shell's death. I know it's foolish to do so long after the fact, but... Vera glares at me, as if to say that I should just get on with it. I resume, catching her up on what I found. The mysterious state of her wand, Shell's suspicion of the stone shears, the magic circle. At the sight of my drawing of it, she simply furrows her brows. Well, first off, that circle is utter nonsense. The way the runes align, the way it doesn't even close in on itself. I don't recognize it, but anyone could see that it does nothing. And what about the stone shears? Corruption in the guild? Was Shell really looking into them? Yeah. She was never really the type to let injustices lie. It'd all just eat away at her until she did something. So, one day she told me about this miner from the Silt District she met in the marketplace. Apparently he'd been injured by a cave-in and wasn't able to work at the mine any longer. Received no support from the owners or anyone else. Cases like his are a dime a dozen, really. He was assisting a blacksmith friend of his or something, working on decorative arms and armor and whatnot. Even you probably know how much Shell liked that stuff, yeah? Mm-hmm. So I guess they started talking and she got attached. And ever since then, it's been a point of concern for her. Well, was. From what I understand, she even tried using the Strom family's political power for it. Talked to Idris about it. Shell's eldest brother. As the current patriarch of the Strom family, that man's words hold incredible power in Eisenberg. He said he needed concrete evidence to stand up to either the Guild or the Stone Shears, though, so she couldn't do anything. Didn't stop her from trying, though. If you ask me, she wasn't looking in the right places. She was too focused on the Guild itself. Sure, we worked with the Stone Shears occasionally, but that's an inevitability given the importance of the Keystone Mines. Would have been smarter to focus on finding dirt on the Stone Shears themselves, even if that's further away from home for her. Not that it matters anymore. When she speaks of Shell, it's as if she's speaking of someone who's entirely unknown to me. I never heard any of it. Of course you didn't. Why would she tell you? Did you even bother asking? When we first got married, we tried to make it work for a bit. But I was too young, too inconsiderate. I blamed her for my circumstances. I'm sure she thought the same of me. Oh, yeah. Alright, coffee's done. Since then, I just couldn't bring myself to repair the relationship. It was too painful. Too much time had passed. I was too weak for that. You're a middle-aged man. You're one of the most powerful mages in the city. Shell won't forgive you if you show her consideration now. She's dead. She can't. There's a prolonged silence. I should continue the conversation. In her searches, did Shell frequent the Silt District? Every once in a while, but not all that much. Still, that might explain why she was found where she was. And if she was murdered, then they might have tampered with her wand immediately after the fact. Swapped the core out for the broken one that's currently there. Do you think we could do something to detect that? Not really. But I don't know if that makes too much sense either. The current state of the core is what's guiding your investigations right now, right? It would have been better to keep it as is to make it seem less suspicious. Not if Shell used magic to defend herself. It's easier to brush off the state of the core as some sort of malfunction, but if she had casted defensive magic ahead of time, we'd easily spot it and know something was up. Vera simply nods and glances away. She's clutching onto the hem of her robe tightly enough that I worry she'll rip it off. I think this talk is affecting her. I'm sorry for dredging this all up from out of nowhere. We can stop if you'd like. No. I don't need your condolences. And if something really did happen, I'd want to find out as well. Then, a gasp. Shit! Of course! The magic circle. Show it again. I think I know what it is. I hand her the paper, and she practically crumples it as she holds it tightly. What the hell? Why would this be here? What is it? A long time ago, before the Keystone boom even happened, the Guild was investigating ways to reuse existing keystones, rewrite their existing magic circles. The research proved fruitless, of course. Such magic is perhaps even harder to perform than proper mana amplification. But the furthest they got was ruining existing magic circles, transforming them into meaningless garbage, similar to what's drawn on this page. When the Keystone boom happened, the research team disbanded and the Guild decided to shift its goal to making mana amplification work rather than chasing that pipe dream. Personally, I think the mana amplification experiments are more eerie or even more foolish, but I hold my tongue. It's Vera and Goran's life work, and I wouldn't want to offend her any more than I already have. This doesn't explain anything. Did she have any interest in such magic? Not as far as I know. Puppetry was her forte, but Shell was the type to keep secrets. There's always been things she just wouldn't talk about, especially if it came to things from before you came along. The previous marriage. The one which had been annulled. We never spoke of it, but from what I'd been told prior to coming here, she was unable to bear children. I suppose that would be unacceptable in an ordinary political marriage. Thus she was matched with another pawn. Me. Well, I suppose she had her reasons. But this just raises more questions. Silence. Seems like this is as far as the conversation can go. Well, thank you very much for your help, Vera. Gladly. I think there might really be something here. I'll see if I can find out more about the magic circle. Before he shifted to working on mana amplification, Goran did participate in the research on repurposing keystones. He's the one who told me about it. Odds are he'll be able to give us a lead. Hold on. Are you sure that's a good idea? She gives me an incredulous look. Look, Goran is... I understand that you think it was misguided, but he's one of the figures Shell investigated. He's a leader of the guild. If there's any truth to what Shell's investigating, he's involved to some extent. Well, you've already talked with him, back in the Wand Lab. I assume it was about this, no? That was unintentional. It just so happened that he was there and he took an interest in what I was doing. So, if he is suspicious, he already knows you're investigating Shell's death. As far as he knows, I know nothing of the Circle, and see it as just an oddity. If you tell him of the progress I'm making, he might make more of an effort to hide any evidence should it exist. He wouldn't... Fine. I'll hold my tongue for now. I'll just check the libraries out. You should do so well. You should do so as well, of course. Thank you, Vera. Well, I should get going now. Thanks again for hearing me out. Vera just nodded silently, and I leave. All things considered, that went better than I expected. The lingering confusion from my conversation with Vera lasts throughout the day. Though a fight was averted and I found another angle to investigate, the reality of the situation is that I only came out of it with more questions. Even as I return home at the end of the day, weary and ready to close the day off, thoughts don't cease. When I enter Shell's room, the first thing that strikes me is the stillness of it all. It's as though time had gone still the moment she died. I cannot but feel as though this place is entirely disconnected from my house. Rows upon rows of unfamiliar novels decorate the bookshelf by her bed. The blanket is crumpled by the foot of the bed, and mountains of pillows decorate its end. I have to wonder how Shell managed to sleep with them. Every which way I look, I see little mannequins in suits of armor in various poses. Some of them are dotted in magic circles and lines, some ordinary. Yet they're mostly congregated on her work table, where they're posed in a half circle around the spot where Shell presumably made them. Currently in the spot is a sheet of paper with some complicated magic circle outlined within it, weighed down and kept from curling in on itself by 2 pins. If there's any clues in here, they're likely to be found near the work table, and so I move towards it. I go through it slowly, opening up drawers and checking their contents, examining it all to the best of my ability. I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking for, but I feel as though I have to find something. Anything. And yet the longer I search, the harder it gets to justify it all. Schematics, sketches, irrelevant magic circles. A love letter from Laurent. 6 different responses to the letter that she couldn't bring herself to finish. A bookshelf full of trashy novels. Stories taking place in faraway lands, away from the cold emptiness of Vitgor, full of romance and adventure. A deep look into the personal life of a total stranger. Nothing of use. I slam my hands on the table in frustration. The various miniatures on the table clatter over. Those who've been enchanted slowly whir to life, their limbs articulating one by one in order to return to their previous poses, blissfully unaware of the death of their master. What am I doing? 30 years of marriage and I know nothing of Shell. God, really? 30 years? Jeez. Why do I think that I have the right to do any of this? Is this really sufficient atonement? Is there even any point? I turn to leave when I notice a book that I somehow skipped over strewn on the ground. It's old and leather-bound with an empty cover, but the wear and tear on it makes a lifetime of usage evident. I open the first page. Some kind of introductory note. Shell's journal, likely one from a decade or 2 ago. I think back to what Vera said earlier today. Shell was the type to keep secrets and rarely share them. Could it be that she felt comfortable writing them in a journal? I mean, yeah, sure, we're gonna open that. Probably a good idea to figure out the fuck is going on. I read through the first page. Then the next, and the next, and the one after that. The pages detail ordinary events. Outings she went on with Laurent and friends. How happy she was to hear about Vera's marriage. What magic she wanted to learn. The growing frustration with her inability to do so. Even a short-lived attempt at writing a book of her own. No mention of the Stone Shears or corruption in the guild or any hint as to what Shell was doing before she died. Naturally, there's no mention of me either. Without bothering to tidy up the mess I made, I go to sleep. Day 5. 48 days until the Solstice Festival. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to have a quick shout-out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silver, and thank you going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 3 gold tier patrons, Zeke, Toby, and Blue Wolf Alpha. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if you want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our safe for work contents as little as $5. If y'all don't want to donate to our Patreon, you can donate using Super Thanks on YouTube. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!